Hello, everybody. It's Matt from RoyalKoreanBlog.com. Thanks for joining us here on YouTube. Every Monday, we are live on YouTube talking about the most important thing in the whole wide world, which, of course, is a Royal Caribbean cruise. And we are recording this video live as we talk about the most important advice I give my family when they book a Royal Caribbean cruise. Yeah, you know what? Every now and then, I'll get a cousin, an uncle, a sibling who will book a cruise. And, of course, they know that I kind of know some things about cruising and ask me for advice what to do. So I figure, you know what, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for you as well, as we talk about the type of advice that I give my family when they book a Royal Caribbean cruise. So again, this is helpful for them and for anybody else who's coming to Royal Caribbean and wants to know where to start. And this advice is all over the place, but let's start off with number one: fly into your cruise embarkation port at least 1 day early. When it comes to travel, there's always going to be certain factors involved in the trip that you have no control over, right? Weather, canceled flights, flat tires, etc. So with that in mind, do not let a travel delay put your entire cruise vacation in jeopardy. The last thing you want to do is to to fly into the city that your cruise is leaving from, and then there's some sort of an issue that prevents you from making that cruise. By arriving to your cruise port a day or more ahead of time, you're going to guard against that. You'll give yourself some buffer for that type of scenario to occur. And secondarily, it's also going to start your vacation a little earlier. I mean, who doesn't want to get down to a warm place in Florida to be able to enjoy a couple days before the cruise begins and kind of get acclimated, take some naps, whatever you have to do, but get that vacation going there, right? So get the vacation fun started. Come into your cruise port at least 1 day ahead of time. Number two, this is, again, advice I give my family when they're planning a Royal Caribbean cruise, and that is do the online check-in before the cruise. The days of showing up to the cruise terminal and simply saying, "Hello, I'm here for the cruise," long gone. You got to show up to the cruise terminal, say, "Hello, I'm here for the cruise. Here's my app I already did the online check-in for." Use Royal Caribbean's app, create an account, scan your passport with the app, and make sure you take a selfie photo so that way you can be assured not only of a smooth check-in process, but also taking the most amount of time away while you're at home, not on vacation, and then speeding up the time you spend when you're down in the cruise terminal. Oftentimes, if you complete those steps I outlined for you, if the ship you're sailing on and the terminal you're sailing out of can support expedited arrival, then you can take advantage of that as well. It's really cool. So do the online check-in, do it via the app, and get that squared away before the cruise. The number three advice I give my family when they go on a Royal Caribbean cruise, when they book a Royal Caribbean cruise, is to arrive to the cruise terminal early. If you subscribe to the theory that time is money, then you definitely want to arrive early to your embarkation port. By arriving early, you'll beat the big crowds that descend upon the terminal later on in the daytime. And as an added benefit, you'll have extra time on board your cruise. And I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, Matt. When I did my online check-in as a good little student in the last step, Royal Caribbean told me my check-in time is 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock or noontime. What about that? Those boarding times are suggestions. They're not enforced. Heck, nobody's even going to pay any attention to the fact that you had it in the first place. So what Royal Caribbean is trying to do is stagger people coming in. But the bottom line is insiders know, like you and I, that we can get to the cruise terminal earlier and be able to start our vacation a little bit sooner. Now, of course, you're wondering, okay, what constitutes early? And I would say anytime between 10 a.m. and 11:30 a.m., totally cool. Show up there. I wouldn't show up any earlier than 10 a.m. You'll probably be sitting around waiting. But by 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., anywhere in there, you're good to go. No problems. The next piece of advice I always give my family is to pre-book their entertainment. Now, this only applies to Oasis or Quantum class ships. But if they're sailing on an Oasis or Quantum class ship, pre-book your entertainment, pre-book your shows via Royal Caribbean's Cruise Planner website. In the weeks and even months leading up to your cruise, Royal Caribbean gives you the option to pre-book things like the shows on board. By booking these activities early, you'll ensure that you have the time and day all lined up, a spot for you in the show, and it makes scheduling other activities like shore excursions and dinner a little bit simpler to do here. Now, there is no set time frame when entertainment becomes available to book on an Oasis or Quantum class ship. It's usually closer to your sail date, so check the cruise planner periodically for the option to appear. I would say somewhere in the ballpark of 60 to 45 days before you're sailing. Now, if you're sailing on another class of ships, you're sailing on Adventure of the Seas, Empress of the Seas, Mariner of the Seas, Liberty of the Seas, Brilliance of the Seas, there is no option to pre-book entertainment. Instead, just show up to the theater 10 to 20 minutes before showtime to get a seat over there. The next bit of advice I always give my family is make dining reservations on board the ship. I always tell people when it comes to specialty dining, if you're going to do specialty dining, you don't have to, but if you're going to do it, you definitely want to take advantage of Royal Caribbean's dining packages. The dining packages are an incredible value because it really does save you a ton of money and allow you to enjoy a number of Royal Caribbean specialty restaurants without paying the advertised covered charge. Oftentimes, the discount is somewhere in the ballpark of, half off, give or take, right? If you purchase a dining package, be sure to make reservations once you get on board the ship on embarkation day, and do so as soon as you can. In general, you'll find plenty of availability if you make those reservations on the first day of your cruise rather than playing the we'll see what happens kind of game. And the last bit of advice has to deal with Perfect Day at Coco Cay. A lot of my friends and family have seen those commercials for Perfect Day at Coco Cay. They're super excited for it. And here's what you need to know about Perfect Day at Coco Cay, because there's a lot of stuff here, but this is the bare bones what you got to understand. There are 3 basic areas of Perfect Day at Coco Cay. There's the beach, which is known as Chill Island or South Beach. There's the pool, which is Oasis Lagoon or Splashaway Bay. And there's the water park, Thrill Water Park, right? It's pretty easy to move between these areas. Obviously, water park has an additional cost, but the pool areas and the beach areas, totally included in the cost of your cruise. And you're good to go over there. So it's pretty easy to, if you decide, you want to start out with the pool and then move to the beach, start at the beach and move to the pool, no worries there. But the key is to plan ahead, so that way you know what you want to do first and then go from there. Now, the decision whether or not you should get the water park admission, that's a big one right there. And it's going to depend. Not only will, if you're going to do it though, pre-purchase it before your cruise. You want to make that decision before you get on board your ship. Not only will you save money if you purchase admission to the water park before your cruise, deciding on going to the water park or not before you arrive will also ensure you waste less time. Like, I think a mistake is to not only wait on board the ship, but make that decision actually on the island. So there's some basics right there. The type of advice I give my family when they're planning a Royal Caribbean cruise. Thank you for joining us here. We're actually going to jump into our chat right now because every Monday we broadcast live here on YouTube and we talk to the people in our chat like Dina and Lori and Suzanne Turner and Ron Ladowski. So if you want to join us for it, make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on your notifications. That way you know when we go live. So a big hello to the chat out there. I am here to answer your questions as well. And we're going to start off with a question from Le Petit Monde de J. I choose my dining time for 8:30 p.m. Can I ask to have a table for 2? Absolutely. When you get to the check-ins, they'll ask you how many in your party. You can tell them, look, it's 2, and we'd also like a table for just 2. Absolutely. Suzanne Smith, is Oasis still in Barcelona? No, she's actually selling out of Miami currently. She went over at the end of last season, and she's now selling out of Miami, Florida, and she'll be out of Florida now for the foreseeable future. Susan Drown says, my kids absolutely love Adventure Ocean. They don't want to leave when we come to pick them up. Sounds like my kids as well. Yes, it's a fabulous program in Adventure Ocean. Debbie writes, speaking of that, cruising to Alaska with a 10-year-old grandson in August. Anyone have experience with Adventure Ocean or other tips? Absolutely, Debbie. Cruising with kids is fabulous. Love doing that. It's one of my favorite things to do. My advice is, number 1, on embarkation day, sign your kids up. There's going to be an open house registration. Go to Adventure Ocean, get registered, meet the counselors, answer any questions. But otherwise, take advantage of it. I mean, let the kids go there. It's a fabulous program. I think they're going to enjoy it, especially in that age group. You're talking about 10-year-olds right there, Debbie. You know what? There's always, they get bored pretty easily with what the adults are doing. So don't look at it as punishment for them. Look at it as an opportunity for them to do something fun that they want to do with their friends while you get to do more adult things. It's win-win for in both situations there. Benjamin Berger says, if I have a reservation already at Azumi, do I need to double check my reservation? No, if you booked it ahead of time, before the cruise or at any point, no, it's pretty much locked in there. They do a pretty good job with taking care of all that. Let's see here. Senrab is here. Says, happy Monday and welcome home. Thank you, Senrab. Of course, we were just on Royal Caribbean's Brilliance of the Seas over the weekend. Maybe you saw our live broadcast from Brilliance of the Seas on Thursday. Had a great time on that ship. It was amazing. I don't want to say I'm not unhappy to be home, but I do miss being on board the ship. No question about it. Let's see here. We got some other questions coming their way. Ben wants to know, can you go to the bow on Oasis? You cannot. You cannot ordinarily, Ben. There are some special events that occur there, but you can't come and go as you please to the helipad on the front of the ship like you can in other classes of ships there. Loretta says, Matt, you're the best. Thank you so much for your continued talent with your tips and tricks. Loretta, thank you for watching and supporting what we do here. Without you, Loretta, I'd be literally talking to myself. Is there still a lobster night on 7-day cruises or more? Yes, the second formal night is almost always the lobster night. In the main dining room, you will find something called the Fisherman's Platter, which has lobster tail served on there. Cod Squad, I wonder if you could have any suggestions for hotels near Port Canaveral. The Radisson is really good. If you're looking for a resort, like you want something more than just a hotel room. I really like the Holiday Inn Club Vacations in Port Canaveral, as well as there's a Westgate resort that we stayed at last summer, just for a day for funsies there as well. We have reviews of both at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, but the Radisson is usually highly regarded as a good choice before your cruise. And by the way, one more point about Port Canaveral and hotels. If you're not finding something you love in Port Canaveral, don't overlook staying in Orlando, because Port Canaveral is about 30 to 45 minute car ride away, but there are so many more hotels in Orlando at a variety of prices. You may actually find a much better deal to stay in Orlando, especially if you're flying in, than going over to the Cocoa Beach area to stay. So don't assume that Cocoa Beach is your only option. A lot of people end up staying in Orlando before the cruise because, hey, there's stuff to do there anyway, and B, it's a pretty quick drive over in the morning. Let's see here. By the way, I love these questions. Please keep them coming. Ron Ladowski in the house. I have a Royal Suite on Vision to the Seas. It shows I have a wet bar. What's included or not with a wet bar? Ron, as far as I know, it's just the water. I'm not sure how they stock it, quite frankly. It's a really good question, Ron. I'm not aware that you're going to get liquor or something like that, but I wouldn't expect it either. Tiffany Farnham says, if you have my time dining, jeez, can't read. If you have my time dining, do you reserve those ahead of time or just show up? It's either or. Your best bet, Tiffany, is to book it before the cruise. As soon as you have that set up in your reservation, you can go on Royal Caribbean's website and you can make reservations for my time dining. The reason why you want to do it ahead of time is, number one, to lock in a spot, and number two, set up your schedule ahead of time. Now, Tiffany, there's some days, I get it. It's going to be hard to know what time you want to eat dinner at, especially 6 months ahead of time. And yes, you can make a reservation once on board the ship, or Tiffany, you can say, you know what? You're just going to show up whenever you're darn well ready for it, and that's okay too. That is one of the options, and quite frankly, an advantage of my time dining. Obviously, keep in mind, if you have a reservation, Tiffany, you'll be seated quicker. But outside of the peak dining times of 6 o'clock to about 7:30, that's not usually a big issue. So, Kylie writes, when at a port can you purchase drinks to bring them back on board? You can purchase alcohol and you can bring it on board, but you can't use it on board, Kylie. So if you want to buy a bottle of liquor in a particular port you're visiting and bring it home, totally cool. Royal Caribbean will confiscate it at that point when you get back on the ship, and they'll give it back to you on the last night of the cruise. Alex, got the ultimate dining package. We have 11 people. Think we can get reservations for all of us to sit together. Not all restaurants support groups quite that large, Alex. I think it's going to depend on the restaurant and how busy they are and how many other tables you have. My advice, Alex, is the day of your reservation, go down to the restaurant, speak with them, and hopefully they can set something up for you. But you should be okay with the idea of having two smaller tables nearby each other. You know what I mean? Because they're oftentimes not that far. We have our first super chat of the evening, James Cooling with the super chat. James, thank you very much, my friend, for the super chat. Really appreciate that. If you're wondering what the heck is a super chat, Matt, it's YouTube's way of tipping me. It's like a tip jar almost. It's not required, trust me. It's totally cool if you don't. I don't ask for it, but I do appreciate them. So thank you very much, James. Your generosity, very well appreciated. Let's see here. Let's get back to the questions. Ben, can we get WoW bands on Oasis? Yes. Nathan, hope you had enjoyed Brilliance. I did. Did you learn anything new on your recent trip? Ooh, what did I learn? That's a great question, Nathan. What did I learn on my most recent trip? The Voom internet was not awesome on there, and the ultimate dining package. I think if you're gonna take advantage of I had the unlimited dining package. I had that on Brilliance, and what's really cool about that is taking full advantage of it, right? I went to Izumi on the last night at 5:30 when they first opened, had a serving sashimi, and then left. And then 2 hours later, went to Giovanni's table and had a full dinner over there. If it sounds like it's a lot of food, hey, it's a way to take advantage of what you're getting, because you are getting literally unlimited dining on there. So take advantage of what that has to offer. It's a great question, though. Shay, can you lock your suitcases with a TSA lock when you hand over your suitcase to the cruise line embarkation day? Yes, Shay. Just keep in mind that if there's something in there the X-ray machine sees, they may hold the bag and then call you down from your room to come open it for them. My advice is don't lock it, but yes, you absolutely can if you're concerned about that. ML, planning a cruise for spring break out of San Juan. Nice. Alex, what time does the Broadway show normally play on Oasis of the Seas? Alex, Cats, the Broadway musical. I'm not sure the exact times, but there is a way to figure it out, Alex. Go to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. In our main menu, there's a link that says Cruise Compasses. Click on that, and you'll find the answer. Angie Dickinson is here. Welcome, Angie. First time on Harmony in September. Hoping the weather will be good. First time catching you live, too. Thanks for the tips, Angie. Glad to have you here. We have a lot of great tips, including the top 10 Harmony of the Seas hidden secrets over at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Brandon, any hotel suggestions near Miami International? Yes, Brandon. The Holiday Inn Express, Miami Airport East. Holiday Inn Express, Miami Airport East. I stayed there. I have a full review of it at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. I paid like $80 for the night. It was fantastic, dude. Complimentary breakfast in the morning. It was a great hotel. It's right at the airport. Really like that quite a bit. Noah, when you check in, to use a credit card or cash account? Always use a credit card, Noah. I always use a credit card account. Kat, 5 days to your honeymoon cruise on Symphony of the Seas, both first-time cruisers. Nice. Oh my goodness, you're going to have such a great time. The only problem, Kat, is, of course, this week here, you got 5 days to your cruise. It's going to be like the slowest week of your life. Captain Sable MDR, would you take a cruise during spring break filled with college gifts if the price is right? Yes, I did it last year. It really is not that bad. It's really not that bad at all. Catherine Thompson, my upcoming cruise I requested for the first time my time dining. How does it work? Essentially, it is like dining at home, Catherine, where if you were to go say, Catherine, let's go out to dinner tonight. You could either call your favorite restaurant, make a reservation, or you can simply show up and hope that there's not much of a wait. Essentially how it works. Before the cruise, you can make reservations via Royal Caribbean's website and pick times that anytime that they're open and make a reservation. You can make reservations once on board the ship, or simply forego that and wait in line for the first available table. Lori, how is the texting on Royal Caribbean app rolling out going? Is it making on the smaller ships on Serenade in June? Lori, there is no schedule I'm aware of yet. I'm hoping the last thing we heard from Royal Caribbean was perhaps a launch of that text feature in the second half of 2020. I know that's not very helpful information right there, but it's the best we got right there. Charlene, what's the best cruise ship for a first-time cruiser? I live in Baltimore, Maryland. I think the best ship for a first-time cruiser is an Oasis-class ship or a Quantum-class ship doing about 7 nights. These are cruises that usually go out of either New York in Bayonne or down in Florida. I think the reason why I like these the best for first-time cruisers is they're the latest and greatest. They offer the most for first-time cruisers. They offer a good blend of sea days and port days. And I just think that for someone who's brand new to cruising, who doesn't really know what they like or don't like yet, it's going to be the best possible choice for them because it just offers so much. James Cooling, first time with the chat. Leave on Liberty of the Seas in June out of Galveston. Do you have any recommendations on where to stay in Galveston for a night? James, thank you for the super chat earlier, by the way, again. I don't have a specific place. I stayed at the Galveston. Okay, I mean, many years ago. We're talking 2013, dude. So this is not exactly up-to-date information. There was like the Galveston used to be. I have to look it up. I'm gonna look it up for you though. Let's see here. Oops. I have no idea if it's any good still, but I stayed at the Galveston Beach Hotel. They were fantastic. I would look up more recent reviews than someone who's giving you 2013 advice there. James, when it comes to hotel cities in which I know nothing about but want a hotel, I would simply look at the reviews, look for 4 stars or higher from a place like TripAdvisor, and go off that. Arturo, best things to do on Harmony of the Seas. The shows are amazing on there. The specialty dining is fantastic. Check out the zip line. That's a lot of fun. The water slides, really cool. You're going to love that. Let's see here. More questions. JJ, what do you recommend to do at Grand Cayman? 7 Mile Beach is fantastic. The Royal Palms, 7 Mile Beach is a giant beach, but Royal Palms Beach is a good spot to look into. Nancy, is there a special area for sweet guests at Cape Liberty in New Jersey? There is, Nancy. As memory serves me correctly, when you walk into the terminal and you get past security on the left-hand side, there is a special area for sweet seating over there. Sophie Burns, should we see Columbus the musical on Harmony? Absolutely. It is the best musical on a roller coaster ship, in my opinion. It's my favorite one. Love it. It's a lot of fun. I think you'll like that. Some good humor in there. Let's see here. David, I missed David's question. My chat just like jumped down there, so I apologize there. We've got our next super chat coming from Ian. Well, it's either Ian in LaBelle or Lane in LaBelle. Anyway, thank you for the super chat. Right, I saved a ton on my upcoming cruise. Thanks for your advice. Thank you, Matt. Well, thank you for the very generous super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jamie Jones, first off, you're amazing. My cruise is 130 days away. I purchased the unlimited dining package, but it's not allowing me to make reservations online. That is correct, Jamie. When you buy a dining package, any of them, you're trading the ability to make reservations ahead of time for the reduced cost. So once you get on board the ship, first day, go make a reservation there. Jonesy, RDU in the house. When will Royal Caribbean tell you exactly where to go for your ship? Sailing out of Fort Lauderdale, or is there just one boarding area for Royal Caribbean there? Yes, when you get to if you're wondering like what terminal, doesn't matter, dude. When you get there, you'll see a giant sign that will tell you, this ship is sailing out of this terminal, this ship out of that one. It's super simple not to worry. You don't have to rely on Royal Caribbean for that one. When you get there, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Linda, can you go to the same specialty restaurant 2 times in one day? Yes, I assume you're asking about specialty restaurants or specialty dining packages. Of course you can. The unlimited dining package, you can, yes. If you were to use a non-limit, like the 3-night or the 5-night, you certainly could, but every time you go to a restaurant, you use up one of your restaurant credits, as it were. Tim Taylor, going on a Mariner in 84 days, can I pre-sign my waivers on board? No, you can't. You got to wait till you do it on board the ship. Matt Rierick in the house, 8 days till Fort Lauderdale and 10 days till your Navigator of the season, 13 till Independence. Nice, I like your style right there. Let's see here. Sophie Burns wants to know, what do I know about the Icon class? Like nothing. Royal Caribbean has not really said anything about it. It's coming. It's going to be about 5,000 passengers. It's going to be powered by a combination of liquid natural gas and fuel cell technology. That's all we know. So, might be a little while before we know any more details, really. Johnny, favorite thing to do in the ABC Islands? It's all about the beaches, Johnny. Aruba, go to Palm Beach, Eagle Beach, Mambo Beach over in Curacao. In Bonaire, I rented an ATV on my last trip. Loved it. That was so much fun. Probably the best excursion I've taken in quite a while. Jaden says, how do I convince some of my parents, or how should I convince my parents, take us on a cruise on Navigator to the Bahamas? And are there any way to save money on this cruise? Absolutely. It's a great question, Jaden. So, how to convince your parents? Number one, it's a family vacation. As a parent, Jaden, I will tell you that a vacation which my kids equally want to go on it as much as I do, and we can spend time together, but not like every waking moment, but still spend some time together, is really important. So play up the family vacation card. That's really important. Number two, show them what you can do on Navigator. The water slides, the incredible shows on board, the great dining. Then you've got Perfect Day Coco Key. It's fantastic. And when it comes to saving money on it, book your cruise as early as you can. If you're a U.S. resident, book your cruise, 6, 12, 18 months ahead of time. And you can, if there's a price drop between today or any point between now and final payment date, you can take advantage of those price drops there and make regular payments along the way. It's really the best way to go about it. Trevor, are you going on Liberty of the Seas? Any coming up? No, I don't have any planned sailings on Liberty currently. OP Harbor, any thoughts about Orlando to Port Canaveral and using a rental car? It's really easy. I've done it a number of times. If you want, the nice thing about a rental car is you can obviously have more flexibility in where you go and stops along the way, but also Lyft and Uber. If all you're doing is going from the Orlando airport to Port Canaveral, don't overlook Lyft or Uber. It's usually pretty economical as well. Mrs. Thomas is in here, sailing on Symphony of the Seas in August. What safety policies are in place for kids on a cruise? That's a good question, Mrs. Thomas. I mean, obviously, there are curfews for kids on board. There's stated rules, and there's the guest conduct policy, which obviously takes precedence over there. In addition to that, kids can't get off the ship by themselves. So minors on a cruise ship cannot, if you're in Nassau, they can't be like, hey guys, let's get off the ship and go to Senor Frogs. Can't do that. When they try to get off the ship and they swipe their SeaPass card, the system will alert security that there's a minor here, and if their parents, they'll say, okay, we're your parents. If they're not there, not happening. So, Soggy Frosted Flakes, great name. Have I ever done the behind the scenes tour on Symphony? Would you recommend it? I have not done the tour on that ship, but I have done on other ships, and yes, I would recommend it. If you're thinking to yourself, that sounds a lot like a lot of fun, it is worth it, because it is a really, really cool tour. No question about it. Sophie, have you been on a New England cruise? Not yet. We're doing my very first one in October on Brilliance of the Seas. Can't wait for that. Captain Sable, do you prefer a smaller ship or the mega ships? I like the big ships. I mean, I like them both, but I definitely prefer the bigger ships. No question about that. Loretta, with all these cruises, you should have a tan. I live in Florida. It's not, having a tan in Florida is not impressive. Holy moly! A giant super chat from Jason Jones. Jason writes, 3 days till grandeur of the seas. Your videos help my wife and I prepare for our first cruise. No kids. Can't thank you enough. We even booked a second cruise for our family in 2021. 545 days till Allure of the Seas. Jason, thank you so much for the giant super chat, my friend. I am so glad that you are you're drinking the cruise Kool-Aid. You're loving it. You got a couple booked already. And no kids on your first cruise. It's going to spoil you, Jason. I just did a cruise. I love my children. It's great seeing them again after 4 days. But I got to tell you, going on a cruise without them, yeah, it's not too bad. It's nice. Everyone needs a break every now and then. That's all I'm saying. Kelly Ramos, things I can't miss on Mariner of the Seas. The bamboo room. The escape room is fantastic. Get out of the helipad for sail away. The water slides are a lot of fun. Make sure you do each of the water slides. There are a couple on there. Do them all. Diane Lynn wants to know, what do I recommend to do in Costa Maya? I am a big fan of Maya Chan. It is an all-inclusive day pass run by a couple of American expats. Fantastic service. Not just fantastic service, guys. The best service I have gotten in any all-inclusive resort at Maya Chan. Daryl the Great wants to know, is the Voom streaming internet worth it? Is the quality good to have if you tried Netflix or Hulu on there? It depends on the ship, Daryl. Daryl, what ship are you going on? Because honestly, depending on the ship, it may or may not be good. I mean, if you want to be connected for, being able to chat or check email, Facebook, yeah, that's totally fine for that. But video, it's a whole different ball game there, and it really does depend on the ship. I was on Brilliance, and the Voom was awful. But on Harmony of the Seas, on Symphony of the Seas, on Anthem of the Seas, it's totally cool. NBA Celtics is currently on board Harmony right now. I'm extremely jealous of you, my friend. Planet Noel, how long does it take to get off the ship on the last day and retrieve our luggage? I haven't booked going home airfare yet. I'm afraid to book too early in the morning. Don't book anything before 10 a.m. Anything after 10 a.m., you're good. You should have no problems there whatsoever. Mike Pastor, hashtag team no kids. I love my children. Just it's nice having a break every now and then. Jones is taking the family in 6 weeks on adventure, and I'm getting the same questions from them. I see asked in here. I'm like, Matt says. There you go. If you start off your statements with Matt says, you can't possibly ever go wrong. Jim, thanks for the advice. My wife gets seasick after the cruise when we get back home. Any good advice? I used to have that. It's a weird phenomenon where you're not like sick on the cruise, but you get home and like you're in the shower or you lay down in bed and you kind of still feel like movement there. Napping. I feel like napping in general makes everything better. That's my best advice. I don't really have anything other than that. John Stump, back already. Yeah, it's just a 4-night cruise. Left on Thursday, came back earlier this morning. And I'll tell you, it was a short cruise, but it's nice being able to just get a little cruise break in there, right? Not every cruise has to be 7 nights or longer, although I would appreciate them. Sometimes it's just really great to just escape for the weekend and then come on back. And that's why I booked Brilliance of the Seas. I actually booked the same exact sailing for 2021 because I had such a great time on this one. Kelly, can we bring mini liquor bottles on board? Other way to save money on alcohol? No, you cannot bring that on board. It's illegal. The best way to save money on alcohol, honestly, is buy a drink package. It will save you money. Other than that, do most of your drinking on land. Don't if you're not going to get the drink package, then do most of your drinking in the ports you're visiting because, of course, the cost of drinks is almost always significantly cheaper on there. Mrs. Thomas, your son is 7 and your daughter's 11. What's one must thing to do for them on Symphony? I'm going to give you 2. Number 1 must-do thing. Go to Adventure Ocean. Register them on day 1. Try it out on day 1. The first day of Adventure Ocean is like the first day of school. Everyone's kind of new. Everyone's kind of weird. But friendships are formed on that first day. Get them in on the first day. And number 2, do all the water slides. There are 3 water slides on there. In the name of research, they got to try all 3 and let me know what their favorites were. Ryan will be on Navigator on Friday. Book a rental car when we return on Monday at Miami through Dollar. Dollar Shuttle will take us to Miami for the rental pickup. Do they pick up near Terminal 1? I have no idea, Ryan. You should call the terminal, call the location itself, not like, $1-800 rental car. Call the local office and ask them that. I'm not 100% sure. Worst case, Ryan, you could always take Lyft or Uber over to the airport. Renee Walker, flight home doesn't leave until late in the evening from Miami. Have ever done a day pass to a resort in Miami? I have not done one in Miami, but Renee, I think it's a great idea. It's probably what I would look at first. Resortforaday.com is a fabulous resource that I do recommend. Check them out as well. Ben, where can you get the WoW bands on Oasis? On the first day, they've been selling them down in the Blaze nightclub, but you can always get it from guest services if you decide later on if you want to get it, Ben. Sandra, Bruce, what's the must-do or must-see in Falmouth? That's a tough one. I've struggled to find something really fun to do in Sandra in Falmouth. It's just one of those ports that's kind of very far away from a lot of different things. Blue Hole is a very popular choice. If you're looking for a day pass kind of spot, I might recommend to you the Hilton Rose Hall as a good choice there. But I don't have like a slam dunk one, Sandra. I'm sorry. When should you get the pin for reaching platinum, Suzanne? It should be delivered to your stateroom on board the cruise when you hit that threshold. Excuse me. Or the next sailing, at the very least. Let's see here. Procore. What travel agent would you recommend booking with? I always use and personally recommend MEI Travel. They are a sponsor of RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, full disclosure. But I recommend and use MEI Travel. If you go to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, Procore, see that giant yellow form? Fill that out. They will contact you. Kristen McCaskill, drink package on Harmony. What are the average prices of drinks? A beer will cost you about $8. This is all pre-tax prices, or pre-gratuity prices. Beer will cost you about $8. A mixed cocktail will cost about $10 to $13, give or take. Glass of wine, about the same cost. Holy moly, a giant super chat! Sharon Stockman! Woo! Sharon! Thanks for all you do. 333 days till Christmas on Explore, then 666 days till Amped Allure Christmas sailing. Sharon Stockman, thank you for the giant, holy moly, slap your grandma, it's that good, super chat. Wowie wow wow. Thank you. That's kind of interesting. Your countdown is at 333 and then 666. It's obviously exactly double. Nisa, is the Pan American Pier the port for cruises departing from San Juan, Puerto Rico, not the one stopping for the day? It's the one across the harbor, not the one in downtown. That is correct, Nisa. Raphael wants to know, can you eat in 2 different restaurants with the ultimate dining package on the same night? Yes, Raphael. I just did that yesterday. Oh man, I wish I was still on board. But I had dinner at 5:30. I had some sashimi at Izumi at 5:30, and then 2 hours later at 7:30. I was in, Giovanni's table, having a great Italian feast. So, absolutely, yes. Excuse me. So, Renee, you're platinum but never received your pin. The next cruise you're on, the easiest way to do it is go speak to the loyalty ambassador on board. They'll take care of you. Not to worry at all. Howard wants to know, any advice on what to do with the extra Coco Key water park tickets? Booked to Cabana, but there's only 3 of us. I mean, you could do that. You could try maybe surprising somebody on board the ship. You don't know anybody and be like, hey, come with us on that day. Don't say anything. We'll just give you the bands and you're good to go. You need to produce the bodies. You can't, generally speaking. I mean, you could say, hey, like my uncle's coming later on. Can I just have the bands for them and I'll give them to them later? And then walk around the island and give it away. You could do something like that. But I'm not really sure of any other way you could really do with it. Captain Sable wants to know, do I have breakfast prior to disembarking on the last day or just head off? I always just walk off. I I'm too depressed and tired. I just want to go home. I don't want to go home, but no, I usually skip breakfast. My kids, though, they want something to eat before we hit the road, so I usually stop in the Windjammer and get something there. Jim, I feel like the smaller ships, let me try that again. Jim writes, I like the feel of the smaller ships and the options of the large ships. Maybe I should book both. There's something with a cozy feel when I get from smaller ships. Hey, doing both. That's the way to do it, right? Keep alternating. Do a cruise on a larger ship, then go over to a smaller ship and keep going back and forth. That's what's so great about Royal Caribbean having so many ships in the fleet. Mr. Matty, welcome. Justin Turner, things to do in Phillipsburg. You're either doing shopping in downtown Phillipsburg or there's a great boardwalk area. You can walk there. There's a beach. Easy peasy. Kelly, best restaurant on the Mariner. Hibachi. The Zumi Hibachi is fantastic. Adrian, Giovanni's Table or Jamie's Italian? Jamie's Italian. I think I like their food a little bit better. Mr. Matthew, my cruise was amazing, dude. I had a really, really nice time. John Stubb, what entertainment did you go to? On Brilliance? The only show we went to was on night 2, I believe, was the Broadway Now and Forever show, which is fantastic. You actually see everything we did, John, on board the ship, on shore, with our live blog. Go to royalcaribbeanblog.com. You'll see every day I posted a live blog of what we did on board Brilliance of the Seas. Ben, what can you do at Nassau? There's a ton to do. I mean, there's beaches. You go to Atlantis Resort. You can get a day pass to the British Colonial Hilton. I think it's great. If you want just a beach day, take a taxi over to Cabbage Beach. I would probably start with what Royal Caribbean has to offer via the Cruise Planner website. I think it's a really good idea. And Scott writes, best bars in Nassau. There's a number of great bars on the right when you walk out there. One of my good friends, Cruise Life Matt, took me to a place, I think it's called Sharky's, Sharkeez. He swears up and down by it, and he's from Connecticut, so he knows what he's talking about. Susan wants to know, what is the backstage tour for Diamond members? How do I arrange it? You don't arrange it, they arrange it for you. Don't call us, we'll call you kind of situation. You'll get an invitation in the room. You don't always get it, like I didn't get it on Brilliance just now, but I got an invitation for it on, what was my last? Freedom of the Seas. Usually on longer sailings, Susan. But speak to the loyalty ambassador on board. So, how long is Hairspray? About 90 minutes. What's my favorite dish at 150 Central Park, John? The beef tenderloin for 2. It's fantastic. Best steak I've had on a Royal Caribbean ship right there. So, all right. And last question for today is from Justin Turner, who writes, do they do different Aqua Theater shows on board every day, booking Allure of the Seas in December? No. There's just the shows they have there. They'll show them a couple different times during the cruise, but there's not like a different Aqua Theater show. There's not 7 different shows on 7 different nights. Not like that at all. So, Giselle. Hello, Giselle. Welcome, Giselle. Hello, Kevin Soto. Welcome. Paul Drews is in the house. Guys, I really appreciate you hanging out with me here, talking Royal Caribbean. Really appreciate it. If you're saying, wait a minute, Matt, I need more Royal Caribbean news, information, fun, advice, check out royalcaribbeanblog.com. There's plenty more there for you. And we have a brand new YouTube video coming out tomorrow. I want you guys to check out. I think there's going to be a lot of discussion, a lot of comments on that video. So guys, have a great, I gotta say hello to Tony Diaz in the house. Hashtag sorry, Tony. Welcome, Tony. Glad to have you here. Guys, thank you all for joining us here. Thank you to James Cooling for the super chat. Thank you to Ian and LaBelle or Lanina LaBelle. I apologize for butchering your name. Thank you to Jason Jones for the super chat. And thank you to Sharon Stockman for the super chat as well. Guys, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy. Do something fun. And we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Good night, everybody.